Hey, so today let's talk about diving in and getting into probably the most important vital behavior, and that is inviting. So this is day 5 of our New Coach Quick Start series, and this is one of those sticking blocks that a lot of people find really tricky. And I think to just sort of back away from the word of inviting. First of all, people worry that they're going to be sounding salesy and spammy. And that's not what we're about. It's about sharing our journeys and inspiring others to be healthy and fit and do the same with us. So before you even get into your sort of rhythm of inviting, which you're going to need to commit to at least 5 days a week, and I'll cover that in a bit, what is it that made you sign up either as a challenger or as a coach? Or both? You know, go back to the days when you were looking for that solution. What was it that resonated with you? For me, it was freedom. I love being able to work out in whichever room of the house I want to, or which has got enough space, depending on what clutter I've got hanging around at the time. I love, at the time, the thing that actually got me out of the gym was because I had my children were young. I used to do a lot of swimming, and I'd do a couple of miles in the pool. I'd be crawling backwards and forwards. My daughter was fine. She'd sit and play in the playpen. She was really patient. She'd amuse herself really well. And then when my son came along, it was just like, no way. I was lucky if I could get like 3/4 of a mile done. So that made me think, I've got to find something else. And I started doing my own home workout routines. And then I'd seen this trailer on TV, and it was just like, what is that? And I kept thinking, oh, it's just a scam. No, it's just a gizmo. And it kept coming on and coming on. And it was Shaun T's T25. And I just thought, blimey, perhaps I should give it a go. It'll give me some variety. I'll buy the discs. And in those days, we bought the discs. It wasn't like we didn't have access to the Netflix, the Sweatflix, the videos like we do now. And it was great. I did it 3 times through. And then, of course, it's just like, oh, God, I'm going to go to the beginning again. And then all of a sudden, Beachbody opened up their entire library for us to stream, and my dreams were fulfilled. I knew that from that moment on, I can do anything that I need to do. I can work on any specifics, whether it's sculpting or getting strong or improving my cardio from home. And I was away with it. That was super. And it's much better value than the discs as well. I mean, what is it? Like £8, £8 a month is nothing. Just like, it's so cheap. And then you've got people that spend, 20, 50 pounds or dollars or even more than that a month at the gym, and they go maybe twice. It's just like when people talk to me about price, it's just like, no, price cannot be it. It's a no-brainer. Two takeaway coffees are cost more than nearly more than a month's worth of streaming our workouts. So there's generally a deeper reason when it's priced. But that's an objections thing, which we will go into in more detail further down the line. But right now, think about what it is that got you excited. From the coaching perspective, for me, it was that freedom, being able to structure my workday around my kids, being able to structure my workday around my own needs. Today I've worked out really late because I was putting a load of coaching stuff together. I tend to use Fridays as my treat day to do presentations and put slides together and things that I, sort of creative stuff that I enjoy doing. So I've still yet to do my power hour. But it was that freedom, and also the fact that I don't have any pension. I have no retirement fund. So I have got to create some financial security for myself. And that's what I'm doing with my coaching business. So, again, those are my reasons for joining up as a coach, and I'm really, really passionate about them. So when I'm getting out there and inviting people, I actually really enjoy it. If people say no, that's fine. They can say no because they don't understand quite what an amazing opportunity we have at our fingertips. And often those no's are just seeds that you've sown, and they will watch you, which is why it's so important that your social media lines up with your invite. So if you're not present on social media and then you send out this invite to somebody and they're going to go and stalk you for a while, it's just like, well, she's not posted anything. What's she talking about? Or he, so you have to make sure that your social media is consistent. And it's not all Beachbody. You know, you do need to share your lifestyle. You need to share those 5 other things that I've mentioned in previous videos, your other areas of interest, and also obviously your health and fitness. So it's really important that you are sharing consistently on social media, and then, you know, your invites and your social media all make sense. And also, if you're like advertising for your latest boot camp or your latest free group, you can invite directly to that, or your coaching opportunity, for instance. You know, we've got a free group coming up very soon. That's the logical approach to start inviting to right now. Free groups are a great way of helping people build trust with you. They risk absolutely nothing, and we can give away so much amazing information in our free groups. And you know, so then the free group, and then if they love it, then they might want to sign up and join a boot camp. And if they don't, it doesn't matter. I've got people that come back to my free groups month on month on month, and they've been in there for months and they just enjoy it, and I don't mind that at all. You know, part and parcel of being a coach. So if I can help someone, I don't care how I help them, I just like to be able to do that. But when we break it down into the inviting, get yourself into the right mindset. Some people put on really, you know, funky music, or, you know, find the beat. Do what works best for you. I need total silence, but, you know, go with what is best for you. And also, you've got to work out what your goals are. If you want to be a business builder and you want to hit the ground running, your invites that you're going to be sending out on a daily basis are going to be much greater than somebody who just wants to cover the cost of their shakes and sort of join the business very, very slowly. So, you know, that is also something to bear in mind. If you are just wanting to tick over and just grow a business really slowly and not have any real pressure about it, I would be aiming to send out between 3 to 5 invites daily, because only probably 1 in 10 people are going to reply to you and say yes, they're interested. And then you've got to then, all those people that say they're interested, they will come up with objections as well. So you do have to be reaching out to several people every single day in order to have enough people that, you know, join your boot camp or your coaching opportunity. Or if you want to hit the ground running and you want to be a business builder, you're going to be looking at sending out about 60 messages a day. And that's not all pure invites. So don't go, oh, I'm never going to have time for that. And you will get quicker at it. To begin with, it is a bit of an arduous process. I remember thinking, how can I send out 60 a day? And I'd manage to get out 25 in an hour and a half. And just like, it does get quicker. And if you've got an iPhone, it's a hell of a lot easier than using an Android. I tend to use the voice memo a lot on my phone now, because I think it's much more personal, it's much more authentic. I can use their name, and actually I can just look at their feed and I can pick up on something in their feed, maybe refer to it in the message, and it's really quick. It's worth also considering which platform you're on. Facebook tends to be more of, you need to create a bit more of a connection first. Instagram, you know, you can be much more direct on Instagram. I have to say I much prefer working on Instagram. But if you're doing Facebook, generally what I would suggest is, you know, make some new friends on Instagram daily. So if you're just expanding your business slowly, maybe 5, 6 people on Facebook rather, send them a, you know, send them a friend request. And then you can go into your Facebook, and I'll cover this in the social media tutorial, but you can go into your Facebook, see who your recently added friends are, who've accepted your friend request, and then you just shoot them off, you know, a welcome email. Say, hey, lovely to connect with you, sending you happy vibes on this sunny Tuesday or whatever it might be, and leave it at that. And then, but then you would note down their name, and you will then send them an invite, connection invite, in about 1 to 2 weeks time. On Instagram, you are going to be sending out brief invites. Again, use either the voice message or the textability capability. I like the voice memo. It really depends on, if I'm in bed and the kids are asleep, I'll use texts, because obviously I don't want to wake them up. If I'm downstairs and I'm in full flow, I'll go for it on the voice memo. Some people love it, and then some people, you can see they've seen the voice memo and they've not replied. So kind of frustrating, but that's the reason you need to contact so many people, because not everybody is going to be into it. So in business building mode, if you are sending out, say, 60 connections a day on your Instagram, what I tend to do is I use Instagram stories. If you don't use those yet, don't worry about that. You will learn all about Instagram stories. Those people who watch my Instagram stories are probably my warmest market. They're following me for a reason, and they're tuning into my Instagram stories every day. And a lot of the same people, you know, I see, but the ones that are new names and who aren't Beachbody coaches already, because obviously you don't want to be inviting a Beachbody coach, those people are who I will fire off a quick message to. And that could be like something along the lines of, hey, with their name, hey, Sally, I saw you watching my Instagram stories about my upcoming free group. Are you interested to join us? And leave it at that. And if she replies, great. And if she doesn't, well, maybe send her a follow-up message, I don't know, in 2-3 days time. If they reply, then you can then, you know, send them the information and get them added to the group. And again, you know, I'll go into follow-ups in another tutorial, but follow-ups again are so key, because the inviting in my business was something I wasn't bothered about, but my follow-ups are really weak. I was disorganized. I had too many follow-ups to do, and it all got on top of me, and I didn't follow up with all the people that I'd been in touch with. When I started those follow-ups, my business transformed. So follow-ups really are key. Most people need an exposure of approximately 7 times before they'll actually bite. And take it back to how many times I or one of my fellow coaches contacted you before you finally decided to commit. I bet none of you received your first invitation and then said, yeah, sign me up. I didn't either. So, and it's not because it's scammy or it's not because it's dodgy. It's just because we need convincing that it isn't scammy, and we need that connection build and that relationship build. So, you know, just bear in mind, I mean, if you get somebody who signs up immediately, fantastic, but that's rare. So you are going to have to work it. So hence the importance of tracking people. I don't track people when I send out an initial invitation, because if they're not going to reply back to me and if they're not interested, this just seems a waste of time. We've only got 24 hours in the day. Some people do, they write their names down and then they circle them or tick them when they, you know, when that person replies to them. I only start to track them when they reply to me. On Facebook, it's slightly different because, you know, I'm not sending out quite so many connections, and I will, you know, those people that I have sent out an initial, hey, happy Tuesday vibes message to, I do scribble those down because there's only a few of them. In fact, I add them to a list. I add them to a Facebook friends group list on my Facebook, which I'll show you about as well when I do the tutorial on social media. And that keeps track of them much more easily. So Instagram, I don't track until they reply back to me. But then as soon as they do, track the name, I track the date I've spoken to them, I track what we're talking about, and then I follow up again in, you know, a couple of days time. Then the third follow-up might be another 4 days time. The fourth follow-up might be a 7 days time. And then if they've not replied back after that sort of fourth follow-up after 7 days, I'll then probably leave it a month and then follow up with them again until people tell me no. Because generally, even if the time isn't right, most people want to stay in touch because they're watching you for a reason. So, and if they're watching you, it's probably because they need help. They just might not be ready for it yet. So the first people that I invite are my Instagram story watchers. Then I'll go through people who've liked my posts, or ideally have commented on my posts. And then I'll go to the people who have liked my posts, because those who have commented again are either, you know, we're supporting each other in our community, or they are interested. So, and occasionally on my Instagram stories, you know, if I put a poll there, or I do the swipe up option and people have clicked a link and filled in one of the application forms, that's easy because I've already got some information from them and they've taken an action which says that they are highly interested to learn more about whatever it is I was talking about. So that is the process that I use with inviting. And always be nice, just be friendly, compliment them. People love being complimented, but be genuine. You know, if you're looking at somebody's profile and you're just thinking, oh my God, I don't vibe with her at all, or him, just don't bother, unfollow. or unfriend. If they're not your vibe, if they're not your tribe, don't worry. This is your business. You're not here to pander to people. So, treat it like a business. I don't think I've one person I unfollowed once on Instagram, and she complained, why did I unfollow her? And I just explained to her, well, because, we're not in the same, there's nothing I can do to help her. And I want my tribe to be a really engaged tribe. And she just wasn't in there. And that was it. Sorry, I did apologize, and I didn't follow her back again. That was just the way it went. Sometimes if somebody has a private account, until you followed them and they followed you back, you don't know. And then you look at it and you just think, I don't want to be associated with that. So, then just unfollow and leave it. Doesn't matter. So most people, when they say no or not quite yet, it's a seed is sown and they will watch you like hawks. So that's why your social media needs to be so consistent. So make sure you are, I know I mentioned that earlier, but I just want to repeat it again. It is so important that you are consistently posting on social media. Once that announcement post has gone out, and I'm sharing some information in our group either today or tomorrow about with more scripts and things that for you to use as guidelines, just to give you an idea. I appreciate that in the early days it's a little bit tricky to know what to say. So the scripts are there just to give you sort of indicators as to how to approach people, but don't just copy paste, because it just sounds inauthentic, and it is. Also, make sure when you are inviting somebody, have a quick look at their recent feed. Make sure something tragic hasn't happened in their family, because what you don't want to be doing is sending a hey happy message and they are going through something that's turned their world upside down. In that respect, I would send them a really heartfelt message and just wish them well, or offer them support in some way, shape or form. Those 60 names, if you really want to go for it and be a business builder, they're not all pure invites. You will find that some of them, when you go through those names, that you'll find people that you needed to follow up with, or you'll find people that you've been chatting to. It's led into, maybe if they said no, not yet, I've hurt my knee, so you'd follow up with them in maybe 2 weeks, and then you'd say, hey, how's your knee doing? And they may not have replied back to you, so then you could send them another follow-up message. So they're not all invites. The majority of them will be, but some of them will just be new connections. Some of them will be new connections if you feel like it's not quite the right opportunity to invite, and some of them will be follow-ups that you happen to find as you're going through that list. So it's pretty simple. Just don't worry about it at all. Just get in there, think about why you are so passionate about this, why you wanted to join, and let that be your guiding force, because essentially what we have to offer is amazing, and we're being quite selfish if we keep it to ourselves. That's the way I look at it. What better thing than to offer somebody health and wellness and possible career freedom, financial freedom, security. And I know, I appreciate it's difficult for people that we're inviting to understand quite how good what we have to offer is. But they, eventually, once you've had that conversation, a few conversations with them, that's the whole point of sending out a few links and just progressing that conversation on. So the other thing to do is, if you haven't got many followers yet, and you're not using Instagram stories, or you don't have any people watching them yet, or you're getting very little traction on your posts, that's normal for the beginning, until you've started to build up a tribe, and until people know what to expect from you, that you're going to be doing a daily fitness video, or whatever it might be. You may only have a few people liking your posts, and that we all go through that. We all started at base zero. When I signed up as a coach, I had an Instagram account, but I only had like about 60 followers, and those were all friends who were completely uninterested. Likewise with my Facebook, I think I had about 200 or so friends. And again, nobody was interested in the slightest. So the other way to find people and expand your reach is to search hashtags in areas which interest you. So on Instagram particularly, right in the moment I'm wearing tiki leggings. So I might do hashtag tiki leggings and check the people who are following those and go through a few accounts, and if I like the look of them, I click follow. Always make sure they're not a Beachbody coach already, and if you can see from their profile, if you like the look of them, then follow them. I do things like a hashtag Single Mums UK is quite a good one. When I've got a coaching opportunity group coming up, I'll start looking for more coach related hashtags. So like, because I'm a holistic health therapist, among other things, I look for hashtag holistic health, or hashtag holistic therapist, or hashtag massage therapist, although that does bring up some fairly dodgy pictures as well. But there's a lot out there. So it's about being creative with what you're looking for. One thing I found really, really useful, and I'll just quickly touch on it here. I will explain it more in our social media tutorial on Instagram. If you use Instagram already, you'll know that when you're scrolling your feed, some sponsored posts pop up. And you'll get they'll have thousands of likes and sometimes thousands of comments underneath them. So if it's a sponsored post in an area or a field that I identify with, it might be helping coaches create a 7-figure business income. You see a lot of those types of posts on Instagram, the sponsored posts. I literally go through there and I have a look at who's liked and commented or watched the video. And if I like the look of them, I just go down and I follow. And I try and do at least 100 of those a day, just to build my Instagram following. And with Facebook, join groups that you are interested in. So whatever those 5 things are that we talked about that define you, for me, I'm in a really good group for divorced mums. It's reasonably high vibe, but it's quite an active group. And for me, that works really well. I actually haven't made any long-term coaches out of that yet, but I've got several girls that I'm in touch with who they're really tight on cash, as you can imagine. They're young mums, and it's making that step. And the frustrating thing is I know if they make that step, they're gonna achieve it. But they don't know that yet. So I'm still in conversation mode with them at the moment. But it's a really good way of making friends with people in your niche who you can resonate with and who resonate with you. So have a think about those 5 things that define who you are, and go and have a look for groups in Facebook and join them. And once you've joined them, it's difficult because until you've joined them, you don't know quite what the group's going to be like. If you don't like it, just unjoin. But often, that's a really good way of expanding your network as well. And just make sure you go in there sort of once every couple of days, just scroll down, see if somebody's written something that you can then, you don't go in and invite, you're literally going in there to create connections to begin with, and just leave useful, helpful, supportive posts, whatever that might be. And if you then start friend request the person that you might be leaving a post for, and then when you friend requested, send a nice connection message, and then maybe in a week's time, you'll then follow up with either an invite to your free group or your boot camp or whatever it might be. So, but again, depending on the circumstances, but that's another really good way of starting to expand your horizons. So I think really that's everything I need to go over right at the moment. But just be genuine. Don't overthink the inviting process, but do get organized, track it. So if you're in business builder mode, if you can get 60 out daily, absolutely amazing. But tick them off, make a mark each time you've invited somebody or connected with somebody or followed up with somebody. Don't just count in your head and think, oh yeah, something then happened, you need to take the washing out of the washing machine, and then you've forgotten that you did some invites, but you're not quite sure how many you did. That's not keeping you accountable. When you're inviting, note it down. And you might be one of those people that wants to write the names down. If you do, go for it. It's just not the way I work. But track it. Even if you're just sending out 3 to 5 invites daily, mark them down so that you know that when you go to bed that night, you've ticked that box. And if you're using the business activity tracker, which I've shared in our team page, which you should be using, you can click that off on that business activity tracker daily. Whether you use the actual tracker or whether you just use it as guidance, it doesn't matter, but make sure you are keeping yourself accountable and that you know how many invites you've been sending out. Because also the thing is, if you come to me in a month's time and you say, Kate, I just, or your coach who's put you in this, shared this video with you, you know, I'm sending out all these invites and I'm not getting any challengers or no coaches. We want to be able to see your tracker. We want to see what you've been doing, because then we can go through it and we can say, well, you didn't post on social media for 3 days. So there's a reason. And actually you think you've been sending out all these invites, but I can only see you've sent out 16 in the week. You know, that's not enough to gain momentum. So the other thing to mention is, sorry, I've got a really stiff shoulder, I've just finished my workout, is when you have got people into your boot camps or taking on coaches, because of course coaches join our boot camps too. Those people who are in your boot camps are going to start to get results. And when they start to get results and they're walking around and they're meeting up with friends and their family is seeing them looking healthier and feeling fitter and they got more energy and more confidence, that is a walking billboard. So you will find that as time goes on, it will get easier. The early days are probably the toughest because there's a lot to learn and you've not started to gain any traction yet or build any momentum. When you do, it will become a lot easier, I absolutely promise. But hang on in there. The worst thing you can do is decide, no, I can't do it. You can. Just, if you have to back off a bit and just do it a bit more slowly and keep it going alongside your current business, if that's what you're doing, just back off and do it slowly. The only time you will fail is if you quit. There is no way you can fail in this business if you do the daily behaviors and if you're consistent with them. So with that, have a fantastic rest of your day. I'm getting ready for my team call now. And any questions, just ask, and get inviting, get tracking, work out what your goals are. If you've not already had your getting started right call, we will discuss that in much more detail anyway, but I think it's important to put that out here because I want you to be aware of, depending on what your goals are, what you need to be doing. So have a good rest of your day, guys, and I will catch you soon.